Goal-based design can be extremely effective in the classroom and in a school, all the way from the top, from the principal, all the way down to the students. You can utilize this as a principal to give goals to your administrative staff, and you can have your administrative staff give goals to your teachers and your teachers to your students. I think it's so important to always have a goal in mind whenever you're trying to do something. That way, you are not just freely going about learning or wasting any time. I feel like whenever there's no goal in mind, teachers can kind of jump around with their learning and their teaching. But if you put that goal in mind first, kind of like what we talked about last week with the end in mind during a unit or the school year, you know what you need to teach. If you already know what you need them to learn or what goal you're striving for, you have that motivation and you have the knowledge to know what you want the kids to learn. So with that knowledge and with that goal in mind, you can motivate these kids like, hey, look, this is our goal and we're working towards this every day. You can have progression bars, you can have different types of, rewards on the way. Teaching these kids that motivation to really strive and work for that process, not necessarily the feeling of the reward, the feeling of fulfilling that goal, but the feeling of working towards that goal. Because once you get to the reward, that feeling can subside, but then you can get another goal and then you can start that process over. And if kids can get addicted and become really, really efficient working in the process, when they get out in the real world, they'll really become great workers. Because in the real world, it's a constant turning wheel of, all right, here's my goal, here's how I'm going to get there. Here's my goal, here's how I'm going to get there. And you're going to continually do that over and over. Using this to align assessments and learning objectives is how I would do it if I was a principal. I'm a goal driven type of person. I would wholeheartedly, I would, give use a standardized test, and I'll give these teachers, hey, we need to reach this score at this time, and obviously I'm only a second year teacher, so I haven't had a lot of experience, but I would like to see some sort of assessment every 9 weeks. I think that would be a fair number. I think that's what I would start with, and then kind of build from there. Giving these kids different assessments. And if it's not enough, we could look for every 4.5 weeks, at the midpoint of the 9 weeks, and then at the end of the 9 weeks. That way we have even more data. But using that data to drive, our instruction and using that to build goals, I think that is a great way to build a culture at a school.